Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are doing a Twitch stream recap from I don't even know how long ago at this point, but our first objective of the day was to drop a resupply pod on our lunar surface base, Rosalita Memorial Station, and try to get it back up and running now that we have a crew ready to deploy and Harmonia Station is back at operational status. It's time to get a crew out there, do their physical checks, and then start generating some science again. We still have some biomes left on the moon that we haven't actually fully logged yet. So this is an old DN5 series capped off with a whiskey resupply pod. Now, I haven't flown one of these in so long that I forgot that the Victor resupply pods are for the surface space. The Whiskey resupply pods are for Harmonia Station in orbit. So this supply pod has no landing gear. This supply pod is a derivative of the Victor resupply pod. It just has the solar panels located where the landing legs usually are, and no landing legs, and instead a docking port up top. But no landing legs. Otherwise, they're pretty identical, and they carry the exact same amount of fuel and supplies, run on the same engine, and have similar weights. So we decided we were just going to go right on ahead and push forward with the mission and try to, you know, get this resupply pod down on the surface, despite the fact that we're just going to land it on those little pontoons off to the side. So we have made our insertion into low Earth orbit, and now we're going to go ahead and plot for the moon with all of our solar panels kicked out, our comms activated, and our radiators active. We'll just enjoy the nice little scenery as we make our trip about 180 degrees around, and then go ahead and push for the moon. This was actually a brief two-parter, as I had some real life stuff come up midstream, so we went ahead and did our TLI, and then I had to end the stream. We came back the next day, the following Monday, and rounded out the mission, plus took care of a lot of other things, which we will get to later in this episode. Now, our TLI burn is pretty long, coming up just shy of like 8 minutes or so, but it is moving quite a lot of cargo. And while normally our Victor resupply pods will keep the B upper stage attached and use it to begin the orbital insertion, we're a bit light on fuel because the flight plan was such that we had to light that HG3 engine to circularize our orbit. But no worries. We'll actually just go ahead and leave it on a collision course with the moon and then correct our supply pod to be in a much better orbit. There was a transition when I had to leave the stream, and now we're looking at footage from the following Monday in my Make It Up To Me stream. As we start to make our approach to lunar SOI, we'll be smashing the B stage into the moon so that we just don't have the junk to deal with it. And we're going to try to push as close to a single pass approach for landing as we possibly can. This is just about going to do it. I'm just kind of winging it, guessing as to where the station would be when we were coming in for approach. And so now we're going to go ahead and make our lunar insertion burn, coming at a ground scraping periapsis of 12 kilometers, which actually, well, will put us pretty close to the dirt, but we will get a whole lot of that really nice Oberth effect, despite a little bit of nail biting and a little bit of butt puckering. Yeah, we came within, I think, 5 or 6 kilometers, more than a few times as we kind of jumped over some of the rougher parts of the lunar surface, but well and clear, and now on our way back up. We just have one small little correction to make to put us on a landing trajectory. So we'll just go ahead and fire that ELE experimental engine now. A little less experimental. It's been in service for many years at this point. I don't know if we can actually call it experimental, but F4 key will bring up our target indicator icon. We're going to go ahead and use MechJeb's landing guidance window, where I'm flying this manually, but yeah, I'll turn it over to old me. Let him explain it to me on the node, please. mission. I think our estimation would put us a little shy of target, so we're going to shut this down just a little early. Right about there. Ah. Alright, now it's time to start watching altitude. God, I haven't done one of these in so long. 10 kilometers off the deck. Please don't fail on me, engine. It's locked to retrograde for right now. Heavy cargo that you can't make any lighter because of how parts are configured in RO. Somewhat. And, you know, trying to ship around very dense fuels for use on lots of things. 5 kilometers. 177. I just want to see how fast it's going to take us to bleed that off. 6.17 TWR. Should mean not very long, but whatever. We got acres of runtime, right? No, we do not. And now we have render range. So, now's a good time to refresh your beverage. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. Oh, shnikes, that was fast. Throttleable engine. You don't need to shut down every time, Crash. Oh, boy. Right, let's not overshoot. Alright, nice and gentle now. We're coming in on fragile things. Fragile things. I think that's as low as we can throttle it, and we're still positive on our TWR. So, nice and easy. Let's just go ahead and park this bus. Spool. It's Mars all over again. Alright, gentle, 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 gentle. Touchdown. Hooah! RCS to disarm. It's mostly intact. Woohoo! Just spraying the base with chemicals. Yes. How's it going, Lucy? How much longer am I going to be streaming? Hopefully about another hour. Slidey boy. Yeah, we should probably switch vessels before it slides around too much further. I think we're actually within hookup range. 2 solar panels gone. You know, I'll take that. That is not a bad price to pay. The broken solar panels on Boris. He has retired. Yeah, spinny boy. Yes. Alright. That took a lot less time than I... Was that Bowman? No, that was Boris. Boris is the killer of solar panels. Right on, Lucy. Enjoy your food. Man, that went... I'm not used to having something go well. So it seems weird that it just worked. I don't know quite what to do with myself now. We have this whole tank to draw from, and most of this tank as well, which we're actually going to empty our leg tanks. Just in case they decide to leave us. So we actually brought a pretty healthy stockpile of fuel down. That's cool. And we'll take another quick save, and then I guess we'll... Oh yeah, we need to go see if it's our Mars window. That's what we're going to do. So let's go switch to something in low Earth orbit. Actually, Alt F5. Let's take a named quick save. 32 is fine. Just in case something gets krakened. We will jump now out to Saturn's orbit, where we will pick up our Origami 4T as it is about to make another close flyby of Saturn's moon of Titan. We will be doing some aero braking this pass and hopefully gathering up some science in the process. We're just going to slightly adjust our approach vector here so that we can dial it in exactly where we want to be and exactly the altitude at which we want to be. It's a pretty small correction, and I think our resultant orbit is going to put us a little closer to being able to actually capture into Titan orbit when the time is right. I think we're still probably 2, maybe 3 flybys away from being able to pull that off, but every swing through, I think, is going to take us a little closer. So just to get an idea of how much further we have to go, I'll go ahead and plot this node and realize, yeah, we're out of budget for that. 4.5 kilometers per second. I think we've got about 3.5 kilometers per second of fuel on tap. So that's yeah, it's not going to be a thing this pass, but like I said, every swing by, every time we come through, it gets a little lower and a little lower, and that delta V number does start to have a noticeable drop. So we're going to pull out Flight Computer and start to program in our delay. Once we remove 2 periods from the Remote Tech Queued Actions window, we can actually start to queue up Action Group radio ins. We are really hoping to get some more good in-atmo science and maybe a couple of biomes or 2 on our way through. A successful pass on a flyby like this, especially we can cut through the upper atmosphere, get low, high, and atmo science, can net a couple hundred science, which is no small task, really. So we'll try to queue up as many of these as we can, although I really should just start spamming them in like 5-minute intervals for the 10 or 15 minutes leading up to and following periapsis, although that all does shift once you encounter some atmospheric drag, so it's kind of a my best guess scenario. Anyway, for the actual flyby, I will turn you over to Old Me live during the broadcast. Welcome to Titan SOI. 17 seconds to our first radio in. Done correctly, a relatively low hyperbolic excess velocity and approach, which means a 700 to 750 meter per second delta V to capture. Well, we can rule that out for me. So it requires precision. Ah, wrong button. All the wrong buttons. Let's move Flight Computer over to here. Biological sample reset. I think, yeah, space high we've got pretty well nailed down. Oh no, here we go. And gravity scan while high over Titan's Midlands. Go ahead and transmit that home. Excellent. Reset, reset, reset. Oh, was that I hope that was biological sample. Contract complete. Oh yeah, I forgot. Hey! Contract I forgot I took. That was alarming. Alright, how long until our periapsis? 1 hour 55 minutes. I'm hoping we'll get a good radio in from space low over something. And yeah, it looks like we might get some decent imagery on our way out the door. Yeah, I guess that was a target reset because I have no idea why we came out of time warp there. 37 minutes to go. Okay, fingers crossed, everyone. Space near. Biological. Ooh, telemetry for 67. Yes, radio that in, please. Oh, lots of good stuff. Awesome. Yes. Geiger counter. Set. Gravity scan, another 75. Oh, hey, look, we crossed the 10,000 threshold. Sweet. Dude, that's awesome. Above Titan shores. Sweet. $561 is our periapsis. I think we'll be okay as we cross on over into nighttime here. Yeah, I'll take that. One minute until our next radio in. 2 minutes until our periapsis. Yep, we are atmospheric. That's why we came out of time warp. Upper atmosphere over Titan's shores. Again, it was just lowlands, but now it's shores. So at least we got that going for us. Oh yes, drag is doing a thing. 40 seconds to radio in. Drag is doing a thing. Let's make that drag work for us. This will absolutely not give us any stability, but it'll look cool while we do it. Until we burn off a wing. 4 seconds to our radio in. Still over the shores. Biosample, reset that. Telemetry, temp scan, 102, alright. Wow. 408 science for atmospheric pressure scan. Oh, it's going to take forever. Because of course it is. Pay. Oh yeah, we already got the points for it. That's just a formality. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be atmospheric in 4 more minutes. But that alone made this flyby so very worth it. No heating effects either, so we'll call it perfectly safe and reasonable and photo worthy. Go ahead, fold the wings back up. Oh, I should have plotted a node so I could see our total difference of delta V. Four dots next to the sun. Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. Welcome back, Beastly Pig. God, I should have just spammed radio winds from when we were atmospheric. We've covered like 4 biomes. We could have gotten so much more sciences. Lucy, welcome back also. I'm just a little disappointed in myself here. Well, we're no longer atmospheric, so we can go ahead and time warp on out. That's real interesting. The rings kind of stop where the atmosphere is, but Saturn does not. And we're still in space low. Will we be in another 10 seconds? Yes, we will. Probably not much good data here, though. In fact, none. None good data. Bummer. Let's see what our resultant telemetry looks like. Oh, well, we thought it would. That's not too bad. Yeah, we'll wait until we get clear and then replot. Signal delay is too much realism. Finally have 100 tons to lunar capture rocket. Nice. And with no further science to be gained here, we will just spend a little time to enjoy the view as Titan, blots out the sun for us, and we'll go ahead and swing around the other side, get a nice view of Saturn, and yeah, realize there's no more good science left to be gained. But what we can do is start to see what our next flyby is going to look like and about how many days we have to pull it off. These things do take quite a lot of time spent just poking at nodes and seeing exactly how far down the chain some of these things will have to happen. I'm really hoping to make next flyby or two sometime, this decade. So we'll just poke at nodes a whole lot and see if we can't get that tangential flyby on the returning edge of Titan, although it looks like the easy one for less than 100 meters per second is going to be on the same edge. But, like I said, every flyby brings us a little closer to accomplishing this goal, so we'll just go ahead and try to dial this in a little bit. We do have a bit of inclination issues to deal with, but it's everyone brings us a little closer, and we're actually almost on budget with this insertion. I think it was something like 3,700 meters per second to go ahead and capture into a nice low Titan orbit, but I think we'll give it at least one more flyby just to see how things will work out for us. So that's where we're going to leave this mission, although we do have 11 days before we have to make our correction burn, and then I think it's several orbits until we actually have to come back for the flyby. So with that alarm set, we will jump back to the launch pad where supposedly we have a Mars window right now. And well, to test it out, we should probably relaunch that cupola that we've been meaning to equip Harmonia Station with for all these months. So for the actual launch process, I'm going to turn you over to Old Me live during the broadcast. All right, let's do this. All right, how are we looking? Topped off, ready to go. Excellent. Throttle, our SAS is on. Throttle is set to full. I hope our staging's in good shape. Yep, looking good. Let's get the show on the road. Clamps off. Heavy 1.14 off the pad. This was a lighter cargo. Did I add some dumb things to this? Why is it going up on a DN6? It seems excessive. Oh, 8 more 172s that we can tribute to the Neptunian gods. By that I mean the ocean gods, not Neptune. excessive. Let's just start to lean into it. 1.49 TWR. I'll take it. Things I won't have unlocked until the early 2010s. Big Jeff, you can go away. Start leaning in earnest. Oh, this, I forgot how slow things are in yellow clock time. Oh, so very slow. You would be correct, Lucy. CCAN not bad. Registry updating bad. I think, you actually want to get the realism overhaul from the GitHub. But you want to use CCAN because it'll install the dependencies, and then you delete realism overhaul and go get it from the GitHub and reinstall it. After you've got all the dependencies installed, it's very convoluted, but it is what it is. Yeah, I need to be pitched down way more than this. Here, I thought I was being too aggressive. I'm not being aggressive enough, because, man, once that TWR ramps up, this thing really starts moving. I feel like I haven't done launches frequently enough to remember how to fly these things. Right at that weird place where it was too much for DN5, but at the very bottom end of what the DN6 is rated for. So look at this, we're going to be almost 4 kilometers per second at the booster set. We're already 150 kilometers. These fairings could have come off a long time ago. 1.37 TWR. Out. Or was it comms on this thing that I forgot? Well, we have comms now. Activate target. probably put something on top of an RA9 because they're real cheap, and just go for a polar launch, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. 4, 5, yeah. It likes to wiggle to remind me to pay attention to it. Because if I stop giving it input commands, it just shifts around. But high gimbaling engines, I suppose. It's bound to happen. SAS is going to SAS. About 2.7's good enough. A little bit of roll control, a little bit of under horizon, because we're going to be circularizing here very, very soon. Still running away apogee. Still running away at apogee. You know, just point straight back to Earth. Still running away at apogee. There we go. Shutting down. 339 by 195. Nearly a kilometer per second left in the tanks. Not too bad. Go ahead and jettison. Any minute now, KSP. Thank you. Activate radiators. Things that should be on action groups for 500 crash. Extend. Extend. Thank goodness we have independent solar panels. Alright, let's get rid of Rendezvous Planner and plot for Mars. And with the craft successfully in low Earth orbit, we'll go ahead and start our plot for Mars, although MechJeb will be particularly not helpful in this regard. It's basically telling me that there's no way to do this for less than 4.5 kilometers per second, which I find to be a little ridiculous. There's no way Kerbal Alarm Clock would lie to me again about a transfer window that absolutely exists. So we're just going to go ahead and plot this one out manually. And also, sorry for the audio leveling on the previous bit. It has been addressed. Hopefully it won't be a problem for 20 episodes like it was when the series started. So anyway, we will get ourselves angled around, and to free up some Delta V, this basically our transfer pod carrying the cupola has a lot of life support on it as well, which we don't actually need, because there was a life support supply run to Harmonia Station just before the last crew departed, which they should be making a return to Earth SOI in the next coming months or so. So there's a lot of supplies out there. We don't need any of them. So we'll just jettison a couple of tons of sandwiches and drinking water into low Earth orbit. No chance at all of it hitting anything, I assure you. They'll all deorbit themselves in the next couple of days, probably. Say what, 339 by 197? Yeah, you know, they'll fall back in short order. But anyway, the jettisoning of all of the unnecessary life support things nets us basically another free kilometer per second on our B upper stage here, which is puts us well within the like 4.4 or 4.3 some odd kilometers per second that we need to make our trans-Mars injection. So I'd say we're in particularly good shape to make this transfer, and hopefully we can even carry some of this upper stage with us. Maybe that'll help us do a little bit of our propulsive capture. Maybe, maybe not. Just as long as we can remember to aim the butt of the cargo package itself at the sun this time, instead of just letting all the power dwindle out and it becoming a dead rock to smash into the surface of Mars. I do believe I added some additional battery to the, I don't know, the capture stage itself. So hopefully we just won't have that problem this time, and we can actually go ahead and get this cupola docked successfully and give Harmonia Station an extra set of windows so the crew can appreciate the view a little better. I'm sure it will make the 5-year deployments out at Harmonia Station a little bit more bearable. And you can see now both our both our chestnut craft in flight, one returning from Mars and one on its way to Venus. They actually both will provide remote tech support. Anyway, we missed our node by a fair amount on ejection due to burn times, really. And so now there's a not really a desperate, but an attempt to replot for a mid-course correction. And man, it gets real close. But it looks like our best bet is going to be about a 500 meter per second burn, uh, somewhere between 30 and 90 degrees offset. Now that one was 361 meters per second. I should go back and replot that one because really the rest of them are just kind of junk. I did try a lot of different solutions and a lot of different times for when to make this mid-course correction as far as putting this thing back on course for Mars. And yeah, I think that 330 some odd meter per second correction was about the best that I think we're going to get. So I think this node probably doesn't pan out that well just based on looking at it so far. But that's the nature of these things. And really, this is the first time we've had to do a mid-course on things going to Mars in quite a long time. So I think I've done quite well for myself. Thank you very much. So after probably 10 or 15 minutes of pulling nodes around and finally probably not deciding on anything substantial, I think I did just leave the node in place so that we could set an alarm to remind us to actually do something about it, hopefully in enough time to make it an effective maneuver and put this on course for Mars. It does, of course, have to propulsively capture. That 973 meters per second figure is not accurate because we don't have all of the fuel of our capture stage unlocked. I think it comes down to being something like 4.5, almost 5 kilometers per second, which should be enough to break us into orbit, and then we can aero brake a few times more just to lower our orbit before making the actual maneuvers necessary to perform rendezvous and docking. So anyway, we'll leave with this one on its way out. Finally, they're going to get some windows. Well, fingers crossed anyway. Right. That's going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.